I also have I found some really neat things like elements of design for when you're taking photos, things to think about. So, for example, you got line. If you've got like lines in the background, you can play with those. Color, which is kind of what we touched on with lighting. Texture, shape, size, space, and value. This is like another way to look at it, like demonstrated here. These are mainly like art principles, but you can definitely use them in photography. So, for example, if you want to use color, you could look at a color wheel. You know what a color wheel. I'm gonna assume everyone here knows what a color wheel is. You know, you have like red, and opposite red is green, and then opposite blue is yellow. No, sorry, orange, and then opposite yellow is purple. And those are like contrasting colors. I can't remember the precise term. Like Van Gogh used to use a lot of blue and yellow. So you can use that sort of thing in color in your screenshots. You could find like a really nice background. So if you're wearing like a yellow glam, you could go find a blue background. Or maybe if you're wearing like pink, you could go find like a turquoise green background, and like it would complement you and it will contrast you. Other things to think about, like value, so degrees of light and dark, but there's basically contrast, making contrast in your photos. Form, we kind of spoke about form with lighting, having like the main source and a fill light that is less intense to make form and depth. Texture kind of comes from I know that Kugani has a lot of textures of bricks and things, and that's a really nice place to take photos if you want to do texture. So that's something to think about as well. You could like challenge yourself and make a photo for each of these elements. As well, I found some really good like traditional art composition media, like what the old traditional painters used to use, which you can use in photography. So there are like triangles. Triangles are really popular, where you have this weight and it goes up like that, which is, these are really interesting things I want to try and challenge myself to do at some point. Oh. Oh, I can't zoom in. It's really tiny. I'm so sorry. It's so tiny. But yeah, they do like this triangle formation, because the concept is that diagonals, when you come into a picture diagonally, it leads the eye. So what I tend to see on like Instagram a lot is people take a lot of diagonal photos. So if I just go outside to the fresh air. So something that a lot of people tend to do, and there's nothing wrong with it. So I'm gonna turn off effects real quick. I'm gonna make it light. Okay. So something that people do is they'll start taking a photo, and then they'll tilt it like this, right? Because it's dynamic, right? Yeah. Also, yeah, it's really good to like turn your screen if you have a really tall character. So people like turn their screen to cheat, right? Because you have more room going from diagonal to diagonal than just the portrait. But the problem with this is that it's askew, which isn't a bad thing. But here's the thing. In cinema, they do this to bring out like a feeling of dizziness and unease. So whenever you're introducing this kind of photo at an angle, you're kind of bringing about that feeling of unease, which obviously is good in some circumstances. But some people are just taking regular portraits and then they put a tilt on it, right? And I'll tell you why they're doing that. They're doing it because a diagonal leads the eye in. But what they don't realize is that you can do what you're trying to do, but in a different way. So you can see that her arms are at a diagonal. So it's already doing the job for you. And then when you turn the camera, you're kind of getting rid of that anyway. Does that make sense? So I think a better way to go about it would be to find some things in your photo to bring the diagonal, but don't forget that the diagonal line is leading the eye to the main subject. If you just have a diagonal line and it doesn't go anywhere, then the picture isn't going to read as well. I hope that makes sense. I have some more like internet media to show you to kind of explain it. Yeah, so like Becky says, when you want to focus on movement and action, your eye follows the lines in the screenshot, right? So you need to set up the lines so that they lead somewhere. And they lead to things. Ideally, they'll lead to like your character's face. Because we're people and we read faces, and when we're looking at things, we're looking at faces, we're looking for people, we're looking for connection. So I don't like the tilted photos myself, because the people who do it, sometimes they understand it and most of the time they don't. They know that it looks good, they know that it's working somehow, but they're not fully understanding why. And so their character is diagonal across the screen, and it's just going nowhere. Like the picture isn't leading me anywhere, but they know it's working somehow, and they just need to develop that a little bit more. So here we've got like the lines are working, they're taking us through, but there are other lines leading us through different places, and then they all end up here. Like the lines are leading somewhere. I hope that makes sense. Again, in traditional art, for this picture, for example, we've got lines. This guy is holding a rifle. People are pointing and people are looking places. When people point, so in a painting, if people are pointing somewhere, your eye will naturally follow it. And it's the same with viewing, the way they're looking. So everyone in this picture is looking at the angel. There are all these lines leading to the angel, and also the angel is looking elsewhere. And so what this painting is doing, all the lines are taking you through the painting in a story. So we start off, I think naturally your eyes are going to go to where there's a lot of contrast. You see how they've used contrast? How we were talking earlier, the elements of design, value. So all the contrast is coming under value. So your eyes are going to pick up the contrast. They're going to probably start there. And immediately, also you've got this arm leading down. The angel's looking this way. You look over here and then he's holding a gun. So it's kind of creating a lot of conflict, tension, and you're going on a journey through this painting, which is why it works. So there are a lot of things. The S shape is another, basically shapes that lead somewhere. They're going somewhere. A lot of straight lines can be interesting sometimes. Here I found some more composition and art. It's all about, like, obviously some people just want to take a photo of the character. That's totally fine. I'm not against that. Like, That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are ways to improve. If you want to do like photography but in the game, but you want to do like, you want to make something higher, you want to make something bigger and better, these are things to look at and study. Composition in art, design elements, they're all relevant. I understand that a lot of people just want to take a photo and get on with the day, and that's totally fine. You just want to post it to Twitter. I do that all the time. Most of my pictures on Twitter are rubbish. But if you want to do something more challenging, these are all things to look at. Definitely. Especially if G-Pose is your endgame like it is for me, and I assume most people in the stream, I feel the same. Yeah. I found as well some people have made sketches explaining some of these things again. Balance, non-balance, circles, the S-curve, which usually seems to apply to paths. Yeah. Here I found composition. There is this golden circle. A lot of traditional paintings you can see here, like they follow lines again that take you through the painting. Rule of thirds, that's in G shade. There's a composition shader for rule of thirds. There are lots of different ones you can use and study. This was a really neat one I found, to kind of explain that what I was saying earlier about using diagonals to lead to your subject. We can see they used the rocks and the horse legs, and then they all lead to the guy who's like less diagonal. He's more upright, and so he's the subject. Does that make sense? So they're using all these lines to lead to it, but the guy isn't diagonal too. Like, he is the subject, therefore he's different.